guys, it's Naseem here. Now today I'm going to give you guys a very special look at the brand new iPhone SE3. Now whenever I was on Twitter or YouTube, I seen the same common thread amongst people in the tech community. People saying that the iPhone SE3 is the same boring phone, the iPhone SE is no different than any other phone in the SE lineup, and overall, the iPhone SE3 cannot compete with any other phone in its price range. And all of these things are true. I would be lying if they weren't. But in my opinion, I think that the iPhone SE3 can be a great phone depending on the type of person you are. Like if you're someone who wants your kid to have a simple cheap phone, the SE3 is there. If you want your grandparents to have a phone that they can understand easily, the iPhone SE3 is there. And if you're the type of person that doesn't care about any of the extra expensive stuff that other smartphones have to offer, the iPhone SE3 is still there. And many people can argue that there are better options in this price range, but if I'm being honest, I think that this iPhone is for specific people who want the iOS experience, because Apple didn't want to make this phone. They want you to buy their more expensive phones, but they also understand that not everyone can or are willing to pay that price. So instead, they added a cheaper version to their collection. And before I get into why this phone is actually perfect for who it's intended for, the first thing you have to do is unbox this thing, right? Now, the first thing that I noticed when I was unboxing the iPhone SE3 was that just like on every other Apple product, you have that very clean white aesthetic that makes the experience feel similar to other models. Also, we have the picture of the iPhone that has a very vibrant image of colors that doesn't look as great as the wallpapers on previous versions, but still isn't too bad. On the left side of the box, we have our iPhone text. On the right side, we again have the iPhone text. On the top and bottom, we have our Apple logos. And on the back, we have additional info about your purchase. Now the first thing that we see when we take the top off of the box is the iPhone SE3 itself, and I will say that it has a pretty nice compact size to it, along with the pretty nice feel. On the back we have a glossy glass back that is very similar to the regular iPhone 8. We also have the mirror Apple logo along with our single camera lens and flash. On the right side of the phone we have our power button that's isolated from everything. On the top we have our built-in speaker and mic. On the left side we have our mute switch along with our up and down volume rockers. And last but not least, on the bottom we have our lightning connector, speakers, mic, and home button / touch ID sensor. And when we look at this screen, we can see the 4.7-inch display that again is very comparable to the iPhone 8 and SE2, but still looks pretty nice when it's in your hand. Now the last things that we have in the box of our SE3 is our Apple logo stickers, our starter guide, and SIM ejection tool, along with our USB Type-C cable, which means that again we won't be getting a charger in the box. Now the iPhone SE3 has 3 different colors in its catalog, starting with the colorful product red. And for the more uniform colors, you have Starlight and Midnight. And the version that I have is product red. And as you can see, it is definitely the most vibrant color option that the SE3 has. I really admire how dark the red was and how premium that shade made it look. Even when we look at it in the sun, we can see that it looks like it isn't cheap while also giving off a nice clean look, and I think that many people will enjoy. I also really loved how it had the matte sides that were the same color and continued the clean, colorful aesthetic of the phone. The only thing that I think could have enhanced the overall look of this phone was if the Apple logo was an actual color like on the newer versions. And I was never the type of person that liked the mirror Apple logo because they show a lot of scratches and it doesn't match the color scheme. Now the iPhone SE3 has a 4.7-inch LCD display that I will say was pretty good for its price based off my first impression. It was vibrant, the quality was good, and it did good, so I was pretty satisfied with the outcome. I also really liked that the size was small but not too small to the point where I can't see anything. Like right here, I'm playing the game and you can see that it's big enough to still get the job done. I also really loved how fast the Touch ID sensor was. It was really refreshing coming from the Pixel 6 to this because not only was it really fast, but it was also really accurate. Now the only 2 complaints that I had coming out of the gate was that this display still had those huge bezels just like on any of the older iPhones, which made the display look outdated. I feel like Apple could have trimmed it down or even gave us a newer display so that we can be able to get much more screen real estate out of it. But again, they decided to go the safer route and put the same exact display as before. But to give you guys an idea of how well the screen performed, here is me playing a game and watching a video on it.
Things that someone his size just shouldn't be able to do. Look at the footwork, the agility, and the touch on the three-pointer. That's what an MVP candidate looks like.
Now, when it comes to build quality on the iPhone SE3, I will say that when compared to other iPhones at this price range, it was one of the most premium builds in the market. Again, I really like the glass back for the premium feel, but the only downside of it was the fact that I'm using it without a case, so it will often be very slippery and it gives a feeling that I might drop it. But besides that, the front and back of the SE3 has a ceramic shield glass, which means that in most cases, if you do drop it, then most likely it won't break, which is definitely good news for people who drop their phones a lot. Again, I also really love the matte sides, so that made the phone feel much more smooth and made the phone feel much more satisfying. And this is the reason why I think that the SE3 has a perfect budget phone build quality. Now when it comes to physicality, the iPhone SE3 has a height of 5.45 inches, a width of 2.65 inches, and a depth of 0.29 inches, making it a very compact phone. And right here, you can see how well it fit into my hands. It's not too small and it's not too big, so I was able to get a comfortable grip on it, which made me less likely to drop it. And even if you are someone who has smaller hands, it will be a very comfortable fit since you don't have to struggle when trying to reach the top of the screen and can palm most of the phone. And now the only thing that I don't like about the physicality is that the phone itself is very skinny, like on older iPhones, so that can make the phone more slippery than it already is. Now the iPhone SE3 has a 12 megapixel wide camera that can shoot up to 4K at 60 frames per second. It also has a front camera that is at 7 megapixels and can shoot up to 1080p at 30 frames per second. And when we look at the daytime outside photos, we can see that it was pretty good for the price. The skies look nice, the environment looked nice, and my selfies were pretty okay at best. I also really admired the fact that it was able to handle my skin tone well, it didn't look yellow or red, and it was able to let in enough light to where I can say that it was a quality selfie, and I like that. Now when we look at the daytime inside photos, I would say that these were also pretty good for its price. It let in enough light so that I could capture objects better. It was able to take some good photos with very little grain. It was able to capture my skin color really well, which made me want to take more selfies, and it was good enough to give me confidence that I could use this camera on a daily basis. And when we look at additional specs on the iPhone SE3, it has an A15 Bionic chip, it has storage starting from 64 gigs going all the way up to 256, it has a 2821 milliamp hour battery that supports 20 watt fast charging, and it has an IP67 dust and water resistance rating. And there it is, you guys. My review on the iPhone SE3. Now stay tuned for more because I will be doing a 1 week review on it to show how it holds up after day-to-day use. But let me know down in the comments, you guys, do you think that I should do a day in the life on the iPhone SE3? Let me know. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It'll be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.